This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. Thousands of Hoosiers are without work this morning, and that includes one local veteran.
When I wear my uniform, I'm kind of wearing it for her as well.
Why she says her unemployment claim was denied, and why she's counting on her state and country not to let her down. Employees aren't the only ones feeling the impacts of COVID-19. New this morning, we're looking at the major financial effects being felt by local governments. And big box home improvement stores have been packed with shoppers the last couple of weeks.
Every time there is some sort of a, whether you call it a national emergency or people feel insecure, one of their first reactions is to grow their own food.
Working for you, we're talking with one family-owned garden store on why their shop should be considered essential.
All right, it is 6 o'clock this morning, already to April 20th, if you can believe it. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Two of my friends are working safely from home, Todd Clausen and Rafael Sanchez joining us right now from Johnson County. Hey, Rafael.
Good morning and welcome to my living room. Todd Clausen, you get an A+. What an amazing weekend. Sunday a little cloudy, but you came through, and today another home run.
Yeah, you know, we got into some sunshine even on Sunday there in the afternoon hours as the clouds kind of thinned out. And today, it's going to be a great day for us with lots of sunshine from start to finish. It is a little on the cool side this morning with temperatures that are sitting anywhere from about 38 to 43 degrees, but skies are clear. So that means once the sun does come up, which is going to be a little after 7:30, we will have plenty of sunshine, and that is going to help to moderate those temperatures very, very quickly. Unfortunately, some severe weather across the deep south. That storm system will miss us, though. Off to our west, you do notice a few spotty showers near the Omaha area. And it's not a question there could be a spot shower or two in our area, but that is not going to arrive until after 8 o'clock tonight. And it's just going to be a light spot shower chance, nothing significant. So until then, enjoy the sunshine from start to finish. It's a beautiful day for us, 56 degrees by the noon hour, with high temperatures today climbing all the way up into the low to mid 60s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning and want to make you aware of some traffic shifting we'll have there on the near south side of town. I-65 at Keystone Avenue. There's still continuing bridge work in this area this week, so expect some delays or shifting as you head through this spot. You'll need to reduce your speed, follow the lanes, and watch for any workers throughout the day. We do have several lanes blocked heading northbound, those shifting over to the southbound side of the road, southbound restricted as well. So just use caution. Overall traffic right now is traveling up to speed in this area, both northbound and southbound. Rafael?
Lauren, here on this Monday morning, we continue to focus on how COVID-19 is impacting Hoosier lives. Here are the latest numbers from the state. The state now confirms more than 11,000 coronavirus cases in our state. On Sunday, health officials reported 577 more cases and 17 additional deaths. A total of 562 Hoosiers have died from the virus.
Now, a 37-year-old man from Pendleton is among the Hoosiers who have died from the coronavirus, and his wife wants you to hear this message.
I just want people to stop thinking that this is not real, because I don't want to lose anyone else I love.
Brianna Berry says her husband, Lou, died at IU Health North on April 6th. He was only 37 years old. Brianna says her husband was overweight and had asthma, but he was otherwise healthy. The last time she talked to him was on FaceTime.
He was telling me that they were going to vent him, and he started to tell me, that I needed to be strong and that he was going to fight, and that I was the best thing that ever happened to him, and how much he loved me and I loved him.
Brianna isn't sure where her husband got COVID-19, but she says that she's been self-isolating as a precaution. If you think you've been infected, IU Health is offering virtual screenings, and it's recommended that you explore that option before going to the doctor or emergency room.
This morning, RTV6 is doubling its commitment to your recovery from this pandemic. Our initiative is called Rebound Indiana. We'll tackle the big issues like unemployment claims and how to make ends meet during this historic time. This morning, one veteran waiting for her benefits like many others who need their money right now.
Courtney Essett serves in the Air Force. The reservist is a sergeant. Her love of country comes only second to the love of being a mom to this little guy.
I grew up loving history. The Tuskegee Airmen were one of my favorite groups to learn about and a group that I always admired. And when I was at a crossroads in my adult life, wanted to do something a little more impactful, a little more meaningful.
Courtney filed for unemployment after being laid off from her full-time restaurant job. Her benefits denied because she did not serve enough consecutive active duty time. Instead of 189 days, she only served 173 days. And that's because she needed to take some time off to heal after the loss of her mother in August 2019. So Courtney appealed her denial on March the 19th.
My mom always wanted to be in the Marine Corps. It's not something that she was ever able to achieve. So when I wear my uniform, I'm kind of wearing it for her as well.
I connected through FaceTime with the Commissioner of Workforce Development, Fred Payne. He can't comment on cases under appeal, but he says, overall, the agency is handling these types of cases as quickly as possible.
We've redeployed people across our agency to really fill in some of those gap areas. When we see that there's a backlog, we have people who could really be ready to fill in just in case. So we'll have to address that as that appeals process goes forward. If we see the need to increase manpower or to change the process, we'll do so at that time.
Courtney is concerned, but she is counting on the state and the country that she serves not to forget her at this difficult moment.
So I told Courtney that I'd be walking with her through this journey, so we'll keep on top of her story. Coming up Wednesday, we'll have a major discussion as we tackle these big issues on Rebound Indiana with the leaders of the Department of Workforce Development. That big forum is happening right here on RTV6 Wednesday at 7:30. I hope you'll join the discussion. I hope you will give us some ideas or bring in some of your questions as we focus on your rebound every day and in the days to come. Lauren?
Raphael, we know when the virus and the pandemic hit, Hoosiers all across the state lost their jobs because of its impact on business. But there is a little bit of relief this morning as unemployment checks are starting to hit your bank accounts. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with the details. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, Lauren, good morning. Some people already received their unemployment checks on Friday, but more are expected to roll out later today. Department of Workforce Development Commissioner Fred Payne says his office has been working around the clock for the last few weeks to update their system so they could pay people under the Pandemic Unemployment Compensation Plan. He says today about $200 million will be sent out.
Those payments are retroactive. That encompasses people who've already filed claims from March 28th or the week ending April 4th.
So if you haven't already, you can still apply for unemployment. You will need an email address, a valid ID, information of your last employer like address and phone number, and your bank routing number. And if you are looking for a job right now, we, of course, always have a ton of jobs listed for you over on hiringhoosiers.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Let's keep talking money. The waiting game really continues for Hoosiers waiting for those federal dollars to come from the IRS. Here's the latest this morning here on Good Morning Indiana. If you were expecting to get your money by direct deposit, there are a few things that might be holding it up. The IRS might not have your bank information if you didn't get a federal refund the last 2 years, or if you had your refund go through a tax preparer. Also, make sure you're checking the right account. That could have been sent to an old account if that's where you had your last refund sent. And you can keep checking your status on the IRS website and enter any new account information there as well. The IRS says do not call them about any of these payments.
And Raphael, the economy closure due to the coronavirus could cost local governments more than $200 million across the state of Indiana. That's according to a study by Ball State University. So working for you, our Alyssa Donovan is breaking down the numbers and what it could mean for you. Alyssa.
Over the past several weeks, there's been a major decrease in several tax revenue streams that local and state governments typically receive. So what does that mean for when we return to normalcy? I spoke with an expert to find out.
There are going to be some communities that really face tough decisions. They have a very high local income tax. They rely on food and beverage and innkeeper's tax, or they have a very large casino tax.
Michael Hicks, the director for business and economic research at Ball State University, says those revenue streams have taken a major downturn. In a recent study they conducted, they found local governments across the state of Indiana could face a combined hundreds of millions of dollars in loss due to the lack of tax revenue.
I think we're closer to $360 million, which is tough for local governments because there's no fat in most local governments in Indiana, but it's not catastrophic.
Hicks says most taxpayers are paying at or near their property tax capacity, so the impact on the average Hoosier will fall in the form of government services.
So maybe your parks aren't going to be mowed as frequently. Maybe there's going to be a longer wait in line at the city county office.
Which also means local government employee jobs could be on the line.
Furloughed workers, perhaps one day a month for the next year. Maybe if you think about the ways that state government or local government can cut money back, it's almost all people.
However, Hicks believes Indiana's local and state governments were more prepared for something like this than other places across the country, which could be helpful in coming months.
We certainly had a much bigger state rainy day fund. I think most of our local governments have a rainy day fund.
And Hicks says the hope is that this unprecedented event will be followed by an unprecedented recovery for both businesses and unemployment. The team at Ball State is continuing to do research. They'll be releasing more studies on the long-term impact of COVID-19 in the near future. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Indy Parks is now enforcing new rules at city parks to prevent overcrowding. Eagle Creek Park will restrict vehicle access to maintain social distancing. It's open to people who walk or bike in. Officials say between 3,000 to 5,000 people visited Eagle Creek last weekend. All four of the city's dog parks will also be closed until further notice.
Not a Democracy 2020. Due to COVID-19, the Indiana Election Commission has made some changes for the June 2nd primary. As you may recall, usually we vote in May, but now we're voting in June. So here are the changes that you need to know about right now. Limited early in-person voting will be available for 1 week from May the 26th through June the 1st. The Secretary of State and the Indiana Election Commission will provide counties with training and guidelines on mail handling procedures and personal protective equipment. The commission says that all public buildings such as fire stations and school buildings should be available for use for the June 2nd primary. All absentee ballot applications submitted after December 2nd will be accepted regardless of excuse given, as long as they are otherwise compliant with Indiana law.
Well, thousands of Hoosiers are out of work, and this morning there are still places hiring. New at 6:15, we're looking at 2 state agencies looking to ramp up the workforce. Todd.
And as we work our way throughout the course of the day today, we are looking at chilly temperatures to start, but plenty of sunshine works in throughout the course of the afternoon hours, and eventually high temperatures, they'll be topping off at 64 degrees, making it a sunny and seasonable day on this Monday as we kick off a new week. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:13. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Working for you.
It is 6:15. Welcome back. Our Hiring Hoosiers works to connect you with all things surrounding jobs, resources, and training. This morning, the Indiana Department of Corrections has the Help Wanted sign posted. The department will host 3 virtual job fairs this week. The first is this afternoon, and it will feature careers at the Pendleton Juvenile Correctional Facility. The virtual job fair is from 1 to 2 p.m. The DOC is using Microsoft Teams to host the fairs. We have more information on how to download the program and information surrounding the other 2 fairs right now at Hiring
hiringhoosiers.com. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles is working to get more truckers on the road to deliver those critical supplies and to be available for the start of the agricultural season here in our state. The BMV is opening 3 more branches around the state by appointment only to process new commercial learner's permits, new CDL or commercial driver's license, and upgrade or download the CDL to add to tank vehicle or hazardous materials. Indianapolis West on Crawfordsville Road is already open for this service. Starting today, the Beech Grove and Carmel branches will also be open for these specific appointments. To find out how to set up an appointment, you can visit hiringhoosiers.com. There you'll also find a complete list of businesses hiring during the coronavirus pandemic. Well, parents of young babies may soon have one less thing to stress about. There are signs that formula shortages are starting to ease. Formula makers have ramped up production to keep up with the demand. It's one item parents can't chance running out of, so they've been stocking up to make sure they have enough for their babies. Experts say you can expect to start seeing more formula on store shelves soon, but it could take months before it's totally back to normal. In the meantime, they are urging anyone with a large stock to consider donating some to local charities. The time right now is 6:17. Let's toss things over to Todd for a look at our Monday forecast. Hey, Todd.
And Lauren, it's a good forecast for us here throughout the day today. If you look behind me, the city looking great on this Monday morning. And if you look really close, you can see the skies are clear. Sunrise now right at 7 o'clock this morning. So the skies already here at 6:17 are starting to brighten just a bit. And it should be a beautiful sunrise for us. Temperatures outside right now range from 35 in Kokomo to 39 in Bloomington. Indianapolis currently sitting at 40 degrees. So it's a little bit of a cooler morning. But with all the sunshine that we'll have out there throughout the day today, we will see these temperatures moderate very, very quickly as we work our way throughout the morning. The cloud cover that was around yesterday thinned a little bit for some sunshine in the afternoon and evening. That continues to move out, and skies will be mostly sunny for us throughout the entire day today. There's this one little batch of shower activity you see back near the Omaha area. That's part of a cold front that's going to be working its way through the area. And as that cold front comes through later on this evening, there will be the potential for a few spotty showers across the area, but a good opportunity to get out and about, whether you're walking the canal, as you see on that picture in downtown Indianapolis with all those redbud trees in full bloom across most of central Indiana. You'll have temperatures that'll warm through the mid-50s by the noon hour into the low to mid-60s for your afternoon highs, with just a little bit more in the way of cloud cover building in, getting into the afternoon and evening hours as that cold front that I mentioned off to our west will start to head in our direction. So it's not a question that right before sunset, which is right around 8:30 this time of year, there could be a spot shower, but it's more so after sunset that you notice a few of these very light spotty showers will start to be making their way into the area. Anything you do see precipitation wise this evening will be very light. A couple of these showers continue into the overnight hours as well before they move out. And tomorrow morning we may start with a little bit of cloud cover, but we get rid of it very, very quickly, which is the good news. And that sets us up for a decent day tomorrow. We start off in the 30s and 40s. We have the sunshine back throughout the afternoon hours tomorrow, so it's a brighter day for us. It's just a chilly day. It's the coldest day we have in our 7-day planning forecast this week. One of the reasons why we're going to be chilly tomorrow is a northwesterly wind that'll prevent the temperatures from warming much at all throughout the day. But the good news is those winds, they switch direction once again. Once we get to Wednesday, 65 degrees, we warm right back up. The wettest day potentially this week will be Thursday into early Friday morning. Raphael, as some rain showers make their way through the area, but temperatures still remain seasonable in the low to mid 60s.
Todd, some great numbers there. And as you know, you're number one in our heart. And for another year, another national park around the country, the Great Smoky Mountains, is number one in the latest polls. The National Park Service says about 12.5 million people visited the Smokies along the North Carolina-Tennessee border just last year. Coming in second with nearly 6 million visitors is Grand Canyon National Park. The Great Smoky Mountains and Grand Canyon have held the top two spots now since 1990. The National Park Service says it has modified operations, as you can imagine, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Welcoming new life into the world is a huge deal. New at 6:25, how one mom-to-be and her friends weren't going to let the COVID-19 outbreak stop them from having a baby shower. And you've probably seen it blowing up your social media feeds. ESPN's 10-part documentary, The Last Dance, kicked off last night, giving sports fans unprecedented access to the Chicago Bulls dynasty. This morning on GMA, not only will you hear from the documentary's director, you'll also get an exclusive sneak peek at the next episode. It is 6:21. We'll be right back.
Check up at Golden Oak Lending.
The time right now is 6:24. Raphael, it is time to talk about what is trending at 6. All right, what do you got there?
So I want to tell you about George Washington because he's really coming through for some employees here. Let me show you. Let me take you to this place. It has become a tradition for customers to leave a dollar bill when they visit the Goat Bar and Grill in New Hampshire. The inside is covered floor to ceiling, as you can see, with George Washington. The manager is now taking down every one of those dollar bills and putting them for a great cause towards a collection for his team. We've seen this before in Florida. In this case, each day bags of money are brought to the local bank where it is counted and then distributed to the staff. There you go, George Washington doing his thing.
Very cool, Raphael. Thank you. Well, just moments after the owner of this pizza restaurant in Florida gave a couple of free slices to a man who was down on his luck, a longtime customer walked into the shop and offered the owner $1,000 to help him during this difficult time. The Good Samaritan is putting the donation on his credit card and even including some extra money to cover the credit card fees. Very nice.
That is very cool. And so one more thing, Lauren. Nurse and mom-to-be Katie Rodriguez all smiles during her drive-by baby shower on Long Island in New York. There's the parade. The youngest of 13 kids, the event was organized by Katie's 8 older sisters. Rodriguez and her husband Juan, also a nurse, do not know whether they're having a boy or a girl, but this will be the 19th grandchild in this growing family. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
if anyone knows how to throw a baby shower, it is that family. So that is pretty cool.
That's right.
All right, Todd, we've got some good news for anyone who's maybe getting outside today, going on a little drive, going on a walk. We have sunshine.
Yeah, whatever you want to do here throughout the day today. Any of those options you mentioned there, Lauren, will be a good option. Grab the sunglasses, grab the sunscreen, though, as you walk out the door, as you can get sunburned this time of year. You don't really think about it in April, but you'll notice your forehead getting a little bit red if you don't put on that sunscreen here and you're out for an extended period of time. It's a little chilly this morning, but we warm quickly throughout the day today from the 30s into the mid-50s already by the noon hour. So we warm almost 20 degrees throughout the course of the morning. Soon as we get that sunshine, which is already starting to appear here across central Indiana with that 7 a.m. sunrise. And eventually highs will be in the low 60s to the north, about 62 in Peru, 64 in Indianapolis. High temperatures, though, in some southern locations today could approach 70 degrees. So all in all, a pretty nice Monday for us. We do take a little bit of a step back tomorrow with some cooler temperatures and some rain showers as well. We'll talk more about that coming up in the next half hour.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here at 6:26, the debate over which businesses are essential and can remain open is heating up by the day. One such business is gardening chains. So working for you, our John Matarese looks into whether they're really essential so you don't waste your money.
With most stores besides grocery, pharmacy, and hardware stores now closed, one type of store that's still open is generating controversy. It's garden centers. Should they be open?
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
At this 80-year-old garden center, business is driven through pre-orders only. It's a far cry from these scenes at Home Depot and Lowe's that have been publicly shamed for allowing hundreds of customers to pack their stores.
They're able to go online and order or call our phone number, and we'll load up their order.
Manager Tim Clark says Drive Up keeps the lights on, though sales are way down.
We've had a lot of churches call and cancel their orders.
In response to the crowding at Home Depot and Lowe's, several cities and even the state of Vermont have ordered garden centers to close. But the folks here say that in a time of crisis, there's almost nothing as essential as being able to plant a vegetable garden.
Every time there is some sort of a, whether you call it a national emergency or people feel insecure, one of their first reactions is to grow their own food.
Tomatoes, cauliflower, collard greens, and more have been flying off the shelves, especially since online vendors like Burpee are sold out of popular vegetables. Customers like Kristen Barnes appreciate Benkin's safe way to shop.
No contact, you pay online, you pick up, they put it in your trunk. You're not close to the people at all.
If you decide to buy garden supplies, keep your distance, consider wearing a mask, as always, don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Monday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. The Indiana State Department of Health will update the state's COVID-19 numbers at noon today. As of Sunday, 562 Hoosiers have died from the virus. That's more than 4 times the number of people in Indiana who've died from the flu during this current flu season.
Starting today, Health State Department officials are hosting more COVID-19 drive-through testing clinics around our state. 4 new sites will be open in Fort Wayne, Gary, Greensburg, and Sellersburg. The clinics run from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Wednesday. They're open to healthcare workers, first responders, and essential workers, along with people who live with those workers, but only if you are showing symptoms of COVID-19.
Starting today, the BMV is opening 3 more branches in an effort to get more truckers on the roads to deliver critical supplies. The Indianapolis West branch on Crawfordsville Road, as well as branches in Beech Grove and Carmel, will be open by appointment only. They'll process new commercial learner's permits as well as new CDL or commercial driver's license. You can schedule an appointment by calling the number on your screen. That is 888-692-6841. Well, the time right now here at home is 6:30. It is Monday, the start of a new work week, and it is April 20th. Raphael, can you believe we are that far through the month of April?
Wow. And it was a great weekend, a great start to the week. And Todd Clausen, I have planted some tulips in front of my imaginary Salesforce Tower in my living room. Hopefully I can take those outside today, right? Because the weather's going to be great, right?
Yeah, you know, the tulips are going to be a lot happier here across central Indiana today compared to last week when they stayed closed for most of the time. They should open up with the sunshine and the warmer temperatures here throughout the day today. You mentioned the city skyline. Take a look at this shot from IMS. Beautiful as the sun starting to come up across the area. Just a few high, thin, fair weather clouds out there currently across the area. It's a little on the cool side this morning with temperatures that are sitting in the 30s and 40s. But if you don't have to go out within the next hour, these temperatures will start to warm up very, very quickly. That's the good news. 36 right now in Tipton, 39 in Bloomington, 35 is the current temperature in Lafayette. We're dealing with some rain to our south that will avoid us. A few of these spotty showers off to our west in Omaha, and they'll start to make their way in our direction as we work our way into the evening hours tonight. It's probably not until 8 o'clock or so that we bring in the threat of a spot shower or 2. Until then, enjoy the sunshine all the way up to 56 degrees already by the noon hour, with a high temperature in the city of 64, but some locations to the south today could hit 70 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out on the roads. No crashes to report around the metro area, but Southside drivers, I want to make you aware of this traffic shift we now have at I-65 near Keystone Avenue. The bridge project there ongoing this week, and you'll notice if you're in the northbound lanes, you'll be shifting over to the southbound side of the road. Southbound lanes restricted as well now that it's sharing lanes with the northbound side, so just slow down as you get to the spot. Watch for any workers out there this morning. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Raphael?
Lauren, right now we're following some developing news. It is believed to be one of the worst mass shooting in Canada's history. It happened in one of the unlikeliest places, a small seaside village in Nova Scotia. 16 people are dead, including the suspected shooter. Here's more now on what's happening in Canada.
Today is a devastating day for Nova Scotia, and it will remain etched in the minds of many for years to come.
A devastating death count as unsuspecting victims were ambushed by a shooter parading as a police officer.
It's with tremendous sadness that I share with you that we've lost Constable Heidi Stevenson, a 23-year veteran of the force.
Reports of an active shooter sent the small coastal community of Portapic into a lockdown late Saturday night. The first call, a weapons complaint, came in at 11:30. Then reports of buildings and cars set ablaze and more gunfire.
I hear the shots and I look out and there's a guy running back and forth up beside the what looks to be a police vehicle.
By the light of day, more communities were put on alert of the movements of an active shooter, described as armed and dangerous. Police identifying him as 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman, a denturist in Dartmouth who owned properties in the picturesque cottage community of Portapic. Initially, police said the suspect was driving a car that looked like a police cruiser, but later reported he may have changed vehicles. Just before noon, he was spotted at the Irving Big Stop in Enfield. Wortman was shot and killed at the gas station, about 35 kilometers northwest of downtown Halifax.
It's just something that I never ever expect to happen here, this close to home. It's scary, very scary situation.
The fatal shooting of the suspect ending a crime spree that spanned over 100 kilometers brought some relief to residents, but now is followed by overwhelming grief.
So sorrow for people who've lost.
And that was Maria at set with Canadian broadcaster CTV. And right now, police do not know the motive for that shooting spree.
Well, across the country, people are wondering when their stimulus checks will hit their bank account. And this morning, some Hoosiers are having problems receiving their check. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with more details. Kelsey, what do people need to know?
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So what we've heard so far right now is from Hoosiers who are logging onto the IRS website to check on their stimulus check is that it looks like it's in a different bank account. So Jeff Hughes of Richmond contacted Call 6 Investigates after he went to the IRS website to check the status of his refund. He said he did not recognize the last 4 digits of the account number, but the IRS says if a check goes to a closed account, the bank will reject it and you'll get a paper check in the mail. But Jeff was worried someone out there might have his money.
But I know the account number is not an old account of mine. So, I've tried to reach out to the IRS, got nowhere. Tried to contact Greg Pence. And of course, I've not heard a thing from his office. So, I also reached out to you and hopefully we can figure something out.
Thankfully, Jeff says the money finally did show up in his bank account, and Call 6 Investigates Kara Kinney reached out to the national and local IRS to learn why this is happening and what you should do, but we are still waiting to hear back. Now, some Hoosiers have also complained that their banks are taking their checks for garnishments, and we talked to the governor's office, and according to them, there's a petition that's expected to be voted on in the coming days to stop that from happening. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
The number is staggering, even though more than 41,000 Americans have died because of COVID-19. There have been several protests around the country, including right here in Indiana, from people who are pushing back on the stay-at-home orders. We had such a protest on Saturday, this one happening right across from the governor's residence right here in Indianapolis. Around 200 people called on Governor Holcomb to end the social distancing rules that help stop the spread of the virus. Now the Washington Post is reporting that 3 brothers who are far-right activists appear to have set up many of the Facebook groups across the country calling for these protests. The report in the Post says several of the Facebook groups were created from the same internet domain. So far, there is no evidence that Indiana's protest was among those coordinated from outside the state.
Well, there's no doubt the pandemic is costing the state money. Next, a closer look at how much state and local governments are losing and what that could mean for services in your community.
Businesses that are open right now want to make sure they are keeping their employees safe. Next, we'll take you inside a cleaning company that's making sure workers stay healthy. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on RTV6.
Keller & Keller. Right now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:40. The exact impact of COVID-19's impact on our state is still not known, but researchers at Ball State University are really looking into these numbers. Alyssa Donovan joins us this morning with the very latest on what the numbers could mean to you. Alyssa, good morning.
A team at Ball State University has been working to determine how the lack in certain tax revenue streams will impact both state and local governments when we return to normal. They found that we could see a more than $200 million loss in tax revenue. According to Michael Hicks, the director of Ball State's Center for Business and Economic Research, that is an optimistic outlook. The team examined tax revenue streams that local and state governments depend on. Everything from bar and restaurant taxes, innkeepers taxes, and gaming taxes. With the closures currently in place, most of those taxes are coming in at very small percentages, which Hicks says will have the potential for long-term effects on us. While many taxpayers are at or near the property tax capacity, Hicks doesn't expect that to be impacted. But instead, these losses will show in the form of government services.
So it's really people cost. So, maybe the pool won't be open as late on weekdays during the summer. Maybe parks won't have the maintenance done on them. Maybe you won't see the upgrades over the summer, both this year and next year.
And one important note from Hicks, Indiana's state and local governments seem to have been better prepared for this situation than some other areas across the country, mainly due to larger rainy day funds. And Hicks says that puts us in a better position to recover. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, Alyssa, good to know. The time right now is 6:41. During this pandemic, businesses are working to make sure that they are properly sanitizing and cleaning their facilities, especially if an employee shows any symptoms. To take proper steps, oftentimes they call on cleaning companies like Stratus Building Solutions, who's now seeing a large increase in business. Stratus follows CDC guidelines, which calls for employees of that business to leave the building for up to 4 hours to allow droplets to fall to the ground. And then they come in and sanitize everything. They normally clean spaces like gyms, offices, and schools. The company's president tells us they never used to get emergency calls, but now they do.
That's really shifted as a result of COVID-19. I mean, my phone has rung really around the clock. We've become more responsive to emergent situations as they've kind of popped up, and making sure that we're sanitizing those facilities and giving people a chance to get back into their work environments if they're an essential business as soon as they can.
The company's president says your biggest concern when cleaning should be those high-touch areas like doorknobs, keyboards, and refrigerators. He says it all starts with prevention, washing hands, and sanitizing these areas daily at home and also at your workspace.
So we know a lot of people are looking for work right now. Coming up next, our Hiring Hoosiers initiative has a word of a couple of retail companies with open positions to fill right now.
And they couldn't say it in person right now, but that didn't stop a congregation from getting together in a responsible way to show a church leader just how much they appreciate him. Those stories coming up, but first, Todd.
And Lauren, it's going to be a beautiful spring day for us here all across central Indiana. 1, the sun will be shining, and 2, the temperatures, they will be moderating up into the 60s later on this afternoon. It's going to be a very, very nice day. There are some changes, though, heading into the rest of the week. We'll talk more about that coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:43. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:46 on your Monday, and here's a live look at I-70 in view here from Sherman Drive on the east side. You can see the right side of your screen. That is traffic moving westbound into the downtown area from the east side. That is traveling up to speed, as you can see. The opposite direction is quiet. That's because eastbound lanes of I-70 are closed for that construction project between the downtown area and I-465 on the east side. Raphael?
As you know, RTV6 is committed to helping you find jobs and connecting you through resources through our Hiring Hoosiers initiative, now in its 2nd year. And we have some details about companies that are hiring right now. If you are out of work due to COVID-19 and need money to pay your bills, Dollar General is hiring for temporary positions. They're looking to add about 50,000 new employees by the end of this month. as they continue to support their customers during the pandemic. A company spokeswoman says they believe a lot of the customers are relying on them now more than ever before to stretch their budget. They've also announced a $35 million investment in employee bonuses. A spokeswoman says if you come on board now, you will be eligible. Another big store, Walmart, says it's hiring 50,000 more workers because of the increased demand at its stores. Last month, the company announced it already had a goal of hiring 150,000 new employees across the country. Walmart says the openings include both part-time as well as full-time positions.
I had no clue that this was happening. And when I saw the horses, I said, oh, there must be a parade coming. And when the first car stopped by, I just thought it was some friends of ours that had just driven by to drop off some cheesecake.
Well, members from Lawrence United Methodist Church wanted to show their pastor just how much they appreciate him, and they did that by pulling off this big surprise. The group met at the church Sunday and drove by Pastor Joseph Johnson's house holding signs and honking their horns. They say Pastor Johnson has been there for everyone in the congregation, not only before the virus, but constantly throughout this time as well. The church has been holding virtual services on Sundays, Bible studies twice a week, and a church prayer group on Wednesday using Zoom.
I heard about the plan just a few days ago. However, I did not know Channel 6 was going to be involved. So that was definitely a surprise for me, a really nice surprise. But it was difficult to try to keep this man to stay home. He really, really loves his job, loves being at the church.
He is always there for us whenever we need prayers, whenever he's breaking bread with us, he's praying with us, he's joining in.
My hope and anticipation is that people will build on the excitement that's come from dealing with adversity and realize that even in dark times that we can hold on to the hands of each other and hold on to the hands of God.
Well, a total of 63 members drove by the pastor's home in this parade, including 2 horses that normally take part in their Palm Sunday celebrations. Very cool. Always good to see some good news stories here. And Todd, we are not parading by your house, but we appreciate you and your forecast for today.
And there'll probably be a lot of people parading past my house on the sidewalks and on bikes down the street later on today, because it's going to be a great day, Lauren, to get outside and enjoy this nice spring-like day that is going to be heading our way. A live look right now from downtown to the north, not a cloud in the sky. Temperatures a little on the chilly side here this morning. We're at about 35 degrees in Kokomo to 40 in Indy as well as the Greenwood area. So if you do have to venture out this morning, you may want to bundle up just a little bit, but these temperatures, they are going to moderate very, very quickly. That is the good news. The cloud cover is moving out of the area back off to our west. You will notice a few spotty showers here across parts of Omaha down into the Wichita area, and that's part of a cold front. Most of that shower activity is going to dive down to the south here initially, but what's going to happen is there's a cold front that's kind of lingering up here to the north that's going to start to drop down to the south, and that's going to eventually bring a few spotty showers into this forecast late today. So you're completely dry through 6 o'clock this evening. Once we get to 8, 9 o'clock onward, that's when we'll start to bring in the threat of a spot shower or two. Anything we do see is going to be very, very light. But again, that is the tail end of the day. Enjoy the sunshine from start to finish. It's a great day. 56 degrees by the noon hour. On our way to a high temperature today that'll top off right around 64 degrees. Feel free to fire up the grill later on this evening. Let's talk about these showers real quick as they move in closer to sunset. You see how spotty and light they are as they make their way through the area. They linger into the overnight hours before moving out by the time we get to daybreak tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be another nice day as far as the sunshine goes. However, there's one big difference, or maybe two big differences, depending on how you want to look at it. Temperatures will start off in the 30s and 40s. That's not much different. But tomorrow, the high temperatures will be a lot different, and we're looking at highs only right around 52 to 53 degrees. And one of the reasons why is we're going to have breezy conditions. And then this white line you see here, that is the wind speed. And you notice it's going to be pretty breezy tomorrow as well, with some wind gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So that 53 is probably going to feel more like the upper 40s. But the good news is it's just a one-day deal. We're back into the sunshine with warmer temperatures on Wednesday at 65 degrees. Thursday's the day we target target, unfortunately, to be the wettest day of the week. And it's not a washout, but there'll be some showers around with temperatures that'll be topping off in the low to mid 60s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. Should be pretty quiet around most areas due to the stay-at-home order. But here on the near south side, you'll notice heavier traffic, and that's because lanes are reduced. All the lanes right now are traveling on the southbound side on I-65 and Keystone Avenue. So if you're heading northbound on I-65 here on the south side, you'll have to make that lane shift over. Slow down for that. Southbound traffic is restricted down to just 1 to 2 lanes as well. So just use caution as you're traveling through this area or merging on from the ramp system at Keystone Avenue. Well, earlier we told you about the questionable Facebook groups promoting protests of stay-at-home orders in several states. Coming up next on Good Morning America, Mark Zuckerberg goes one-on-one with ABC's George Stephanopoulos on whether Facebook is allowing those groups to promote misinformation. It is 6:53. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The RTV6 app on your phone or streaming device.
All right, welcome back. It is 6:55. Sometimes when times are tough and you need a little lift, playing the blues can give you a lift, and that's why a man in the UK has broken out a legendary car.
And of course, Lauren, if you're of a certain age, not that I'm old or anything, you know the line, it's dark, you're wearing sunglasses, and of course, the Bluesmobile is back. So the replica of the legendary car from the movie The Blues Brothers is owned by Richard and Owen. Normally, he rents out use of the car for parties and weddings, but lately Richard has been firing up the stereo and pumping out tunes through the giant speaker on the roof of the car. And just like Jake and Elwood Blues did back in the day, he is driving the car around parts of the UK that are locked down right now, and he says he hopes the music helps people get a little bit more happier, cheer them up a bit with the big old speaker. That's one big old boombox, Lauren.
Well, I hope if it's cheering people up, I hope it's during the daytime hours. You know us going to bed early for this shift. We don't want this after 8 p.m. So, all right, Todd, we have a check of our forecast for today. A great Monday to start the week.
You know, it really is. Whether you're cruising around in your Bluesmobile or on your two-wheel bicycle or maybe your tricycle or rollerblades, great day, lots of sunshine and high temperatures today that'll be climbing into the low to mid 60s.
Todd, thank you. We are back in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. Here's a live look at the skyline.